In the grand tapestry of human existence, few acts embody the essence of universal love more profoundly than organ donation. This sacred offering transcends the physical realm, creating ripples of healing that extend far beyond what the medical community can measure or quantify. When a person chooses to donate their organs, they are not merely providing physical tissue, they are participating in a divine exchange of energy that affects the collective consciousness of humanity. The physical body, as many spiritual traditions teach us, is a temporary vessel for the eternal soul. It is a sacred temple that houses our spiritual essence during our earthly journey. When this temple releases parts of itself to sustain another, something miraculous happens on multiple planes of existence. The donation creates what mystics call a karmic bridge, a connection between souls that facilitates healing on both sides of the veil that separates physical existence from the spiritual realms. This bridge serves as a conduit for spiritual energy, allowing the consciousness of the donor to continue expressing love and healing even after physical transition. The renowned intuitive Cayce once explained that when parts of our physical vessel continue to exist in service to others, they carry with them energetic imprints that continue to evolve and contribute to the greater consciousness. These imprints contain the essence of our highest intentions, compassion, and unconditional love. When an organ is transferred from one body to another, the receiving body accepts not only the physical tissue, but also the vibrational frequency of that tissue. This frequency contains spiritual information, a blueprint of love, sacrifice, and connection. The cells themselves carry memories, not in the conventional sense, but as energetic patterns that influence the recipient's spiritual journey. This is why many transplant recipients report inexplicable changes in preferences, dreams, and even personality traits after receiving an organ from another. This phenomenon points to something profound. We are more than our physical forms. We are interconnected fields of consciousness, constantly exchanging energy and information. The act of donation creates a sacred union between souls, a union that transcends death and continues to evolve in the spiritual realms. The donor's consciousness experiences a profound expansion as their physical essence continues to sustain life, creating a unique path of spiritual evolution. The collective spiritual healing that occurs through organ donation extends to families, communities, and even to humanity as a whole. Each act of donation raises the vibrational frequency of our shared consciousness, teaching us about impermanence, compassion, and the continuity of life beyond physical existence. It reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but parts of a vast, interconnected spiritual ecosystem, where every act of love creates healing ripples throughout the entire system. When we view organ donation through this spiritual lens, we begin to understand that it is not merely a medical procedure, but a sacred ceremony, a ritual of transformation that allows consciousness to flow between vessels in service of the highest good. The donor's body becomes an altar upon which the greatest offering is made, the gift of continued life and spiritual connection. In the higher realms, this offering is recognized as one of the purest expressions of unconditional love possible in human experience. It creates what spiritual teachers call a luminous thread in the cosmic tapestry, a golden strand of selfless service that strengthens the fabric of reality itself. This thread connects souls across time, space, and dimensions, creating pathways for healing that extend far beyond our current understanding. As we contemplate the spiritual significance of organ donation, let us recognize it as not just a medical miracle, but as a profound spiritual practice, one that allows us to transcend the limitations of our physical existence and participate in the divine dance of giving and receiving that sustains all of creation. When a soul makes the profound decision to donate its physical vessel's components, it sets in motion an accelerated spiritual evolution, unlike any other human experience. This sacred act of giving creates what spiritual masters call an ascension pathway, a direct route toward higher consciousness that bypasses many of the traditional lessons souls must typically learn through multiple incarnations. The donor's soul enters a unique evolutionary trajectory immediately upon transition from physical life. In the first moments after physical transition, the donor's consciousness experiences what can only be described as a magnificent expansion. As their organs begin to function within another's body, the donor's soul perceives this continuation of their physical essence as extended light threads connecting them to the earthly plane. These connections serve as channels through which the soul continues to learn, grow, and participate in physical reality, even after leaving their own body behind. This creates a form of spiritual multidimensionality, existing simultaneously in different states of consciousness. This multidimensional existence accelerates the soul's evolution for several profound reasons. First, it allows the soul to experience the ultimate detachment from physical form while simultaneously witnessing the continuation of its physical essence. This paradoxical experience resolves one of the greatest spiritual lessons souls must learn, that we are not our bodies, yet our physical contributions to the world continue to matter. This resolution brings immediate spiritual clarity that might otherwise take several lifetimes to achieve. Second, the donor's soul experiences a profound expansion of identity. Rather than identifying solely with its former physical vessel, the soul begins to recognize itself as part of a greater consciousness that flows between bodies, between dimensions, and between states of being. This expansion of identity represents one of the highest evolutionary states a soul can achieve, the recognition of its true nature as undivided consciousness, expressing itself through multiple forms. The act of organ donation represents the ultimate surrender, the complete relinquishing of attachment to physical form. This surrender, when performed with loving intention, creates what mystics call a light acceleration, a sudden upliftment of the soul's vibrational frequency that illuminates its path forward. This acceleration is not merely symbolic, but represents a tangible shift in the soul's energetic structure, allowing it to access higher dimensions of consciousness previously unavailable to it. In the intermediate realms between physical incarnations, donor souls often serve as guides and teachers to other transitioning souls, helping them understand the impermanence of physical form and the continuity of consciousness. Their unique perspective, having experienced both complete surrender of physical form and the continuation of physical service, gives them a wisdom that transcends ordinary understanding. They become what some traditions call bridge beings, souls that help others navigate the space between physical and non-physical existence. The donor's evolutionary path is further enhanced by the continuous flow of gratitude emanating from the recipient and their loved ones. This gratitude, whether expressed consciously or unconsciously, creates a continuous stream of positive energy that nourishes the donor's soul, supporting its expansion and evolution. Even when the recipient does not know the donor's identity, this energetic exchange occurs on subtle levels, creating what spiritual teachers describe as a gratitude circuit, a perpetual exchange of energy that elevates both souls involved. This accelerated evolution manifests as increased spiritual clarity, expanded compassion, and deeper understanding of the interconnected nature of all consciousness. The donor soul quickly transcends many of the attachments, fears, and limitations that typically bind souls to lower vibrational states. They move more rapidly toward what many traditions call soul completion, the state of having learned all necessary lessons and being ready to serve the greater cosmic purpose. The supreme act of love, demonstrated through organ donation, creates what spiritual teachers call a divine resonance that attunes the soul to higher frequencies of existence. This resonance attracts spiritual guides, teachers, and elevated beings who recognize the soul's readiness for advanced spiritual instruction. The donor soul becomes part of a higher collective consciousness dedicated to service, healing, and the elevation of all beings. In essence, the decision to donate one's organs represents one of the most powerful evolutionary catalysts available to an incarnated soul, a direct path to spiritual expansion through the ultimate act of giving. It transforms the soul's journey from an individual quest for enlightenment into a collective healing process that elevates not only the donor and recipient, but contributes to the evolution of human consciousness itself. When a soul transitions from physical existence, its mission does not end, it transforms. For the organ donor, this transformation takes on a profound dimension as their physical essence continues to function within another being. This creates what spiritual teachers call a mission continuity, the uninterrupted flow of a soul's purpose extending beyond physical death through the living tissue that now resides in another. The spiritual principle of mission continuity operates on the understanding that each soul incarnates with specific intentions, lessons to learn, and contributions to make. These intentions form what mystics refer to as the soul's divine blueprint, a cosmic design of purpose that guides its journey through physical existence. When physical death occurs before all aspects of this blueprint have been fulfilled, the soul naturally seeks channels through which its work may continue. For the donor soul, donated organs become these channels, living extensions of their spiritual purpose, continuing to express in the physical realm. The organs themselves carry what esoteric traditions call cellular memory, energetic imprints containing not just physical information, but spiritual intentions, qualities, and even aspects of the donor's unfulfilled mission. These imprints do not override the recipient's free will or identity, but rather offer subtle guidance and support that helps both souls fulfill complementary aspects of their spiritual purposes. This continuation manifests in remarkable ways, often dismissed by conventional medicine, but recognized by those attuned to spiritual energetics. Recipients frequently report new talents, interests, or callings that align precisely with the donor's unfulfilled purpose. A pianist who never completed their masterpiece may find their creative vision continuing through a recipient who suddenly feels drawn to music. A humanitarian whose work was cut short may find their compassionate vision expanding through a recipient who inexplicably feels called to similar service. These are not coincidences, but manifestations of what spiritual science calls purpose transference, the migration of specific soul qualities and intentions from donor to recipient. This transference creates a form of spiritual collaboration between souls, a divine partnership in which each soul contributes to a greater purpose neither could fully accomplish alone. The donor provides the energetic blueprint, while the recipient provides the continuing physical vessel through which this blueprint can manifest. The spiritual mechanics of this process involve what enlightened teachers describe as resonant attunement, the alignment of complementary frequencies between donor and recipient souls. Long before the physical transplant occurs, these souls have often established agreements on higher planes of existence. These pre-birth or pre-transition agreements create the conditions for their paths to intersect at precisely the right moment, allowing for the perfect continuation of spiritual purpose. This continuity extends beyond the individual level to affect collective consciousness. Each donated organ carrying forward its original soul's mission contributes to what spiritual philosophers call the tapestry of collective purpose, the interwoven design of human destiny that guides our species' evolution. Through this continuity, missions vital to humanity's spiritual development are not lost but redistributed, ensuring that essential spiritual work continues uninterrupted despite the transition of individual souls. For the donor soul observing from higher dimensions, this continuation provides profound fulfillment. They experience what mystical traditions describe as purpose completion, the satisfaction of witnessing their life's intentions continuing to unfold through another. This completion liberates the soul from any attachment to unfulfilled purpose that might otherwise draw them back into immediate reincarnation, allowing them to advance to higher states of spiritual evolution while still maintaining connection to physical existence through their donated organs. The recipient, often unaware of these spiritual dynamics, nevertheless benefits from what could be called a purpose infusion, receiving not just physical tissue, but spiritual momentum that helps propel them toward their own highest purpose. Many recipients report a sudden clarity about their life direction following transplantation, an unexplained knowing about what they must now accomplish. This clarity often aligns with aspects of the donor's unfulfilled purpose, creating a seamless continuation of spiritual work. This continuation creates what advanced spiritual teachers call a legacy consciousness, the perpetuation of a soul's highest contributions beyond physical existence. Each donated organ becomes a living testament to the donor's spiritual legacy, continuing to express their unique divine qualities in the physical world. This legacy consciousness continues to evolve and expand, influenced both by the donor's continuing evolution in higher realms and by the recipient's free will, choices in physical existence. In the grandest spiritual perspective, Organ donation represents one of the most profound examples of how consciousness transcends physical death, not merely as an abstract concept, but as a living, tangible reality. The donor's mission continues through beating hearts, breathing lungs, filtering kidneys, and seeing eyes, physical extensions of spiritual purpose that bridge the seen and unseen worlds, creating an unbroken continuity of divine service that defies the conventional understanding of death as an ending. In the highest spiritual understanding, organ donation creates what mystics call an eternal energy covenant, an unbreakable bond of love between souls that transcends physical existence and continues throughout multiple dimensions of consciousness. This bond is not merely symbolic, but represents an actual energetic connection that links donor and recipient in ways that conventional science is only beginning to recognize through quantum theories of entanglement and non-local consciousness. When physical tissue transfers from one being to another, it establishes what spiritual adepts refer to as a soul resonance bridge, a direct channel of communication between two souls that remains open regardless of whether both remain in physical form. This bridge allows for the continuous exchange of spiritual information, healing energy, and divine love between donor and recipient, creating a sacred partnership that benefits both souls' evolution. Through this bridge, the donor soul can continue to offer guidance, protection, and loving support to the recipient from higher dimensions of existence. This energetic bond manifests in the recipient's life through what intuitive healers recognize as synchronistic encounters, meaningful coincidences that carry messages from the donor soul. These might include dreams where the donor appears with guidance, unexpected encounters with people connected to the donor, or spontaneous knowings that provide direction at crucial moments. The recipient may find themselves inexplicably drawn to places, music, or activities that held special meaning for the donor, subtle signs of the continuing relationship between their interconnected souls. On the spiritual plane, this bond creates what advanced teachers call a love amplification circuit, a continuous flow of compassionate energy that expands both souls' capacity to give and receive unconditional love. This amplification extends beyond the donor and recipient to include their families, friends, and communities, creating widening circles of healing that transform collective consciousness. Each transplant generates ripples of expanded love consciousness that contribute to humanity's spiritual awakening. The energetic nature of this bond also creates what esoteric traditions describe as a harmonic soul resonance, the vibrational alignment of two souls that were previously separate but now share aspects of their energetic signature. This resonance allows for a form of spiritual communion that transcends normal human relationships. Donor and recipient become what some traditions call soul siblings, beings whose spiritual paths have become permanently intertwined through the sacred exchange of physical essence. This bond continues to evolve and deepen as both souls progress on their spiritual journeys. The donor, from higher dimensions, witnesses the recipient's life experiences and gains new perspectives that accelerate their own evolution. The recipient, whether consciously aware or not, receives continuous downloads of spiritual wisdom from the donor that help them navigate their life path. This creates what spiritual philosophers call mutual ascension assistance, the phenomenon of two souls helping elevate each other's consciousness simultaneously across different planes of existence. In the higher spiritual realms, this bond is recognized and honored by what wisdom traditions call the councils of light, collective consciousnesses that oversee soul evolution and planetary development. These councils register each organ donation as a sacred contract between souls and allocate specific spiritual resources to support this connection. This creates a protected energy field around both donor and recipient that attracts higher guidance, healing, and synchronistic support for their joint spiritual purpose. The love generated through this bond creates what spiritual scientists describe as karmic acceleration, the rapid resolution of past soul debts and the creation of positive future connections. Each act of organ donation resolves multiple layers of karmic patterns, not just for the individuals directly involved, but for entire soul groups connected to them across time and space. This acceleration creates new possibilities for collective evolution that would not otherwise be available. For families and loved ones of both donor and recipient, this bond offers profound spiritual comfort. Though they may not consciously perceive it, they are encompassed within what mystics call the aura of divine exchange, the expanded field of spiritual energy that surrounds those connected through organ donation. This aura provides subtle support, guidance, and healing that helps them process grief, find meaning in loss, and recognize the continuing presence of love beyond physical form. Perhaps most significantly, this bond represents what spiritual masters have always taught, that love is the underlying reality that connects all beings across all dimensions of existence. Organ donation makes this abstract truth tangible and visible in physical reality. It creates living proof that we are not isolated beings, but interconnected aspects of a unified consciousness expressing itself through seemingly separate forms. In the spiritual recognition systems of higher planes, souls who have participated in the sacred covenant of organ donation, whether as donors or recipients, are identified by what some traditions call a light signature of unified service, a distinct energetic pattern that marks them as beings who have transcended the illusion of separation and embraced the reality of our interconnected nature. This signature continues with them throughout their soul journey, opening doors to expanded service opportunities in future incarnations. The eternal bond created through organ donation stands as one of the most profound spiritual teachings available in human experience, a living demonstration that love transcends death, that giving creates eternal connection, and that our physical offerings can become bridges of light between worlds, transforming not just individual lives, but the very fabric of cosmic consciousness itself.